Aurenda takes its name from Aurenda with an O, which is the great spirit to the Native American people. That spirit says if you look after each other and the world around you, you in turn will be looked after. So in Western Australia, we translate that into being an employer advocate, and we say to employers, if you look after your workers when they're injured in the workplace, you in turn will be looked after. In terms of the external relationships, we teach employers how to work with insurers, lawyers, doctors and unions, so that they get the maximum benefit for their injured worker and for the employers themselves. So we've grown over 11 years to a point where we've now got 17 staff, and we work predominantly in the area of injury management, but also in safety, and we're a registered training organisation as well.
WCD came into existence in 1999 out of opportunities that were created in the workers' compensation market along the eastern seaboard. In the last 15 years, we've grown to have a staff capability of 65 people across a range of professional disciplines. Similar to Aurenda, our focus is to provide advice and support to client entities so as that they are able to obtain high quality outcomes in terms of their claims, which has a direct impact on their premium. The focus for all of those people is upon the client and delivering high quality outcomes to them. WCD has offices in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne and Adelaide, plus we also service client requirements in the Northern Territory, Tasmania as well as the ACT. The opportunity for the coming together of Aurenda and WCD was born very much out of some conversations that Deb and I had as to the opportunities for a genuine national capability in the disciplines in which we have traded over the last 11 and 15 years. In particular, our career paths were very similar, and we realised that after some of our preliminary discussions that you and I were kindred spirits in terms of our understanding of the requirements to provide a high quality service in this area, and as such from that obviously the opportunities have developed to create a complementary service offering across Australia. So certainly from my perspective, the discussions thus far and the creation of opportunities that we've already been able to work upon has been obviously very positive, and yeah, we've got a great opportunity now to provide a genuine national service capability.
I think certainly from my perspective, one of the key attractions has been the similarity of values and culture between the two companies. Aurenda's highly driven by our values, and it's very reassuring to meet another company such as WCD that's equally value driven and has that high attention to detail around service, but with excellence being a mandatory position, not an optional one.
Yes.
So that's really exciting for us to meet a kindred company as well as a kindred spirit.
Yeah. Probably one of the other things that we've been able to identify is a high level of similarity in the way in which we conduct some of the core elements of what we do, and specifically things around policy premium management, claims management, and also the injury management return to work. Is that there we've sort of arrived at very similar points quite independent of each other, but in fact it allows an alliance such as we're talking about to be effected very easily because we're executing things to a very similar standard, and it's made this coming together to work collaboratively extremely easy in many respects, and frankly I think that's going to simply translate into, for those organisations where this capabilities is a genuine commercial option for them to consider, we're going to be able to work very easily together, and that for me is particularly pleasing in terms of what we've developed thus far.
Yeah. I think the benefits of the Alliance for our clients, as well as for our organisations, is that in our service delivery we focus very much on the individuality of each client. So our services can be identical, but if you saw them in 3 different clients, you wouldn't perceive them as being the same thing.
Yes.
So when you have a client that operates across multiple jurisdictions with different demands, it's really attractive to be able to have professionals that are specialised in that jurisdiction that can also introduce a seamless service delivery that reflects the individuality of that client, without the client feeling as if they've got to go to 5 different providers in 5 different states. So I think that's a real benefit for both parties, and particularly for us. We're not then having to go in to different states, learn the jurisdiction in detail, employ new staff and try and build those values and culture. It already exists within WCD. So it's a seamless transition.
I think from our perspective, the commuting to Western Australia was exactly the same sort of scenario from our perspective, was that it was to be able to work with a group that already had a strong presence over there, and rather than us doing the fly-in, fly-out type of thing, there's very much a logical progression for me in terms of this association that we've struck, simply for everything that Deb's just said there around local specialisation, knowledge, contacts with the insurer stroke claims agent markets. All of those sorts of things are ultimately to the client's benefit. So it's there's a lot of benefit that will deride out of this to those clients who are multi-jurisdictional in the nature of their operations. One other aspect of this, I think, particularly when you're looking at the financial commitments that attach to this, probably principally as they're seen in premium, is that have a dialogue with a CFO. Fundamentally, they don't want any surprises in terms of premium issues. I think, but again, for multi-jurisdictional entities, head office accounting staff look at an aggregated scenario, not individual sort of thing. So the nature of that premium policy management and management reporting, which is a particular strength of WCD, I see as having a great application in terms of the opportunities that we're starting to see emerge around the market. So again, lots of positives there, I think, translating into client benefits.
The services that will be provided are the injury management across the various jurisdictions and therefore the differing requirements. Claims management, again, would vary from self-insured to conventionally insured clients. The safety services, which across both of our companies are very broad, and they range from auditing to hands-on service delivery. And then a whole range of training, both accredited training services and ad hoc training on the client's premises themselves. Also, from our group perspective, there are 3 other entities that would be able to provide complementary services in this area. First of those is RiskTech, which has a particular focus on risk engineering. In the main, that supports general insurance program placement. There's also a risk management element that's there, which has a close alignment with corporate governance and things to do with due diligence and what have you. So that resides in RiskTech. We then have a mature workforce organisation called Activetics, which specifically looks at the commercial exposures for organisations around an ageing and retiring workforce, but also has a specific focus on the individuals within that entity and their transitioning towards retirement and the way in which that can be done effectively. The scenario there being that for both the organisation and the individual, there's some sort of sense of where the future lies in terms of that particular workforce. And then the final group is SureFact, which is an insurance investigation group specifically focused upon working in the workers' compensation industry to provide high quality, and if I say claims beneficial investigation work that allows again a good quality outcome to be arrived at in the workers' compensation area. So from a group perspective now, there is an enormous amount of capability, and interestingly, between the combined groups there, that's nearly 100 professionals across Australia being able to deliver an outcome to client organisations. I'm really excited about this strategic alliance with WCD. I think it's a great merging of 2 very similar organisations in a strategic alliance. Yep. I know that people will think it's potentially a takeover or that we've been bought out by WCD, but what's very exciting for me is it's a complementary service delivery for our clients that operate in the eastern states and joint national clients that we will endeavour to pick up together in terms of new business.
Yeah.
And certainly early conversations, our staff are really excited about the opportunity of having experts in other states that they can call on for questions and have a supportive environment to go to rather than potentially a competitive one or someone that takes the attitude of don't you know that. So I think it'll be fantastic in that positive sense.
Absolutely, and I think the sense of maintaining our own ownership in that regard goes back to, frankly, part of it is my observation of a range of corporate takeovers or mergers or what have you, which end up being, unfortunately, quite distracting away from the core purpose of why they've even come together as people. So we just, fundamentally, we don't have that at play here because we're going to continue to trade in our own right. And as and when the opportunities to work collaboratively come together, then we just draw on our mutual strengths, which could be a geographic presence, it could be a specific specialisation, could be particular industry knowledge or what have you.